community of resistance. Erin, they, them, is a free-range Unitarian Universalist religious educator from the Tampa Bay area. They are a seminarian studying at the United Theological Seminaries of the Twin Cities. Erin is inspired by the interconnections woven throughout humanity and our greater living world. Our music is provided by Bonnie Whitehurst, and our first song is Guide My Feet, number 348 in the gray hymnal.
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain.
Good morning.
Morning.
So my name is Erin Powers, and my description is I am a middle-aged femme-appearing non-binary person. I have short brownish gray hair. I wear rainbow-framed glasses and a dark blue top with a tie-dye bluish teal stole. And I am delighted to be here with y'all this morning. Our opening words are by the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Although there remains too much evidence of the world breaking apart at coastlines, congressional hearings, and kitchen tables, inside the quiet places of your heart and mine, there still resides the seeds, the longings to return to this knowing that we belong to each other, to this earth, this life, to remember ourselves and all of our lost pieces, beloved in ways that cannot be undone, to dwell here in this healing, this hope, this wholeness is our practice of resistance. Even in rage, we refuse to relinquish gratitude or joy. Come, let us worship together.
We light our chalice with these words from Maureen Killeran. In these hard times, let us look first to the response of love. In the midst of chalice, may our chalice flame bear witness to the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. In the midst of uncertainty, may our chalice be a beacon of encouragement that our values may guide our choices. Let us look first to the response of love. We will now sing Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the the shape of justice, roots pull me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our story today is called The Tale of the Journeying Stream, and it is based on a Sufi parable. So there once was a stream that had traveled its course through far-off mountains, passing through all kinds of countryside, and had at last reached the sands of the desert. Just as it had crossed every other barrier, the stream tried to cross this one, but found that as fast as it ran into the sand, its waters disappeared. It was convinced, however, that its destiny was to cross this desert, and yet it seemed that there was no way. The stream was feeling frustrated and hopeless. Now a hidden voice, coming from the desert itself, whispered, "The wind crosses the desert, and so can the stream." Now, the frustrated stream objected to this advice from this mysterious voice. What a ridiculous thing to say to water. After all, wind could fly, and that was why it could cross a desert. But the voice persisted. By moving in your own accustomed way, you cannot get across. You will either disappear or become a marsh. You must allow the wind to carry you over to your destination. "But how?" cried the stream. "By allowing yourself to be absorbed in the wind." Now, this idea was not at all acceptable to the stream. After all, it had never been absorbed before. It did not want to lose its individuality. And once having lost it, how was one to know that it could ever be regained? Now the sand spoke up. The wind performs this function. It takes up water, carries it over the desert, and then lets it fall again. Falling as rain, the water again becomes a stream. "But how can I know this is true?" the stream asked. The sand replied, "It is just so. If you stay here, you will become at best a quagmire, and even that could take many, many years. And it certainly is not the same as a stream." The stream gurgled, "But can I not remain the same stream that I am today?" "You cannot, in either case, remain so," the voice said. And when the stream heard this, certain echoes began to arise in its thoughts. Dimly, it remembered a state in which it, or some part of it, had been held in the arms of a wind. And so the stream, tentatively and bravely, raised its vapor into the welcoming arms of the wind, which gently and easily bore it upwards and along, letting it fall softly as soon as they reached the roof of a mountain, many, many miles away, where it became a river. And because it had its doubts, the stream was able to remember and record more strongly in its mind the details of the experience. It now knew that it could bravely move in many ways and new ways and not lose its true identity. And with that, our story ends.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Now is the time in the service where we take our offering for the work and welfare of this church. Ours is a free faith which must sustain itself financially. In response to the wildfires ravaging Hawaii, we will be taking a special collection until September 24th to support emergency needs. The First Unitarian Church of Honolulu recommends the Hawaii Community Foundation Maui Strong Fund. It provides financial resources that can be deployed quickly with a focus on rapid response and recovery for the devastating wildfires in Maui. The Hawaii Community Foundation will not be collecting a fee for donations to the Maui Strong Fund. 100% of the funds will be distributed for community needs. Make checks out to UUCTS, Memo, Maui. You may put your checks in the Sunday offertory, mail them to 57 Reed Street, Tarpon Springs, Florida, 34689, or donate online by going to uutarpon.org, donate button, then give the plate. Please give as generously as you can.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We're black and white together. We shall not be moved. We're black and white together. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We're young and old together. We shall not be moved. We're young and old together. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
Thank you for that, Bonnie. And if now everyone will please join me in a moment of silence. Our reading today comes from the Reverend Joan Javier Duval. They currently serve as the minister in Montpelier, Vermont. In what seems like a never-ending theme, their church building was severely damaged in recent historic floods in Vermont. Let us hold the congregation and the community of Montpelier in our hearts as they recover and rebuild. Holy mystery, silent presence, uncertain bearer of the weight of it all. In these quiet moments, we listen. We listen for the maybe still breathing, perhaps still whispering, faintest sign of the universal good. We listen between the cacophony of distractions, pulling us towards untruth and falsehood. We listen amidst the shrill cries of desperation, of "we've had enough," of "when will they stop killing my people," of "how much more will the waters rise," of "when will it be safe to return to my home," of "how much longer can I hang on?" We listen and we wait. Through the tumult of these days, we seek assurance. We seek the fulfillment of a promise made to ourselves, a promise made to those we have been stretched to call neighbor, a promise written and enshrined and yet unfulfilled. Help us, abiding mystery, to hang on, to hold on when all is in question, when all is in doubt. Help us stay firm to our own commitments and our own promises. Lead us back into connection, back into the bonds of humanity that help us to know each other as beloved. May we continue listening. May we keep watch. May we beckon love and justice and mercy with our own whispers, with our shouts, with our cries, until all know themselves as part of the circle of love. May it be. Amen.
In Montgomery and in Selma and the streets of Birmingham, people send a message to the leaders of the land. We have fought and we have suffered, but we know the wrong from right. We are family, we are neighbors, we are black and we are white. Here I go, bound for freedom. May my truth take the lead. Not the preacher, not the Congress, not the millionaire, but me. I will organize for justice. I will raise my voice in song, and our children will be free to lead the world and carry on. From a cell in Pennsylvania, from an inmate on death row, Murmia had the courage to expose the evil show. From the courtroom to the boardroom, in this television's glare, how the greedy live off poor and hungry people everywhere. Here I go, bound for freedom. May my truth take the lead. Not the preacher, not the Congress, not the millionaire, but me. I will organize for justice. I will raise my voice in song, and the children will be free to lead the world and carry on. Here I go. I am standing on my own. I remember those before me, and I know I'm not alone. I will organize for justice. I will raise my voice in song, and our children will be free to lead the world and carry on. From the streets of New York City, across the ocean and beyond, people from all nations create a common bond, with our conscience as our weapon and the witness to the fall. We are simple, we are brilliant, we are one, and we are all. Here I go, bound for freedom. May my truth take the lead. Not the preacher, not the Congress, not the millionaire, but me. I will organize for justice. I will raise my voice in song, and our children will be free to lead the world and carry on. Here I go. I am standing on my own. I remember those before me, and I know I'm not alone. I will organize for justice. I will raise my voice in song, and our children will be free to lead the world and carry on.
So our readings and story offered insights into what it means to be a community of resistance. The trials, the triumphs, the doubts, and the commitments. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King called for us to be creatively maladjusted to injustice. If we are to be a community of resistance, we must be willing to take chances and make brave choices, all while holding fast to our values and our connections to each other. This community here can help us resist becoming accustomed to the unjust, dominant culture of America today. This community here can help us stay aligned with our Unitarian Universalist values. May we always be maladjusted to hate and oppression, especially in times such as these, where there is so much to resist, and the tides of hate and oppression are still rising. In times like these, with so much at stake, more positive emotions like joy and gratitude and even hope can feel disrespectful and frivolous. But that mindset is a function of oppression. Unjust systems hope to wear us down and rob us of joy so that we have no energy to resist. They try to steal our hope and vision for a just future. they try to break us into fragments of ourselves. We must maintain the wholeness and multitudes of our beings. We can be both angry about the injustices of this world and joyful for the miracle that is our life. Being in community with others is one of the best ways to stay connected to the wholeness of our being. When we gather in intentional community together, we can see the wholeness of our being reflected in each other. We can see our values at work in our lives and the lives of others. Our opening words by Reverend Gretchen Haley remind us that we must not sacrifice the wholeness of our being in resisting hate. And in the spirit of joyful abundance, I'm going to read them again. Although there remains too much evidence of the world breaking apart at coastlines, congressional hearings, and kitchen tables, inside the quiet places of your heart and mine, there still resides the seeds, the longing, the return to this knowing that we belong to each other, this earth, this life, to remember ourselves and all of our lost pieces, beloved in ways that cannot be undone, to dwell here in this healing, this hope, this wholeness is our practice of resistance. Even in rage, we refuse to relinquish gratitude or joy. And though many things are breaking apart, our wholeness and our spirits will not be one of those things. Together in community, we will resist injustices and attempts to steal our hopes. We will resist with joy and gratitude for each other and this community. Joy and gratitude strengthen the bonds of community. And communities such as this one are essential for those of us that resist systems of oppressions. They offer safe harbor for our weary spirits so that we can rest and re-energize and reconnect with our values, so that we can nurture the wholeness of our being and resist being broken into fragments of ourselves. As fragments, we are easier to defeat, but in our wholeness and holiness, we are a force for equity and justice. And when we hold fast to the wholeness of our beings in all our multitudes, that alone, we are resistors of oppression. And when we do it together, we are a community of resistance. As a community of resistance, we strive to stay firm in our commitment to our values and justice. Yet, we should not be so rigid in our commitments that we hinder our ways of moving forward. Resisting injustice does not mean staying fixed and rigid. Being a community of resistance also means making moves to further us as individuals and as community, lest we become stagnant and stuck. In our story, The Tale of the Journeying Stream, we explored how frightening it can be to try a new way of moving forward. Yet, as our global landscape changes, we must be brave in finding new ways to resist oppressions and bend the arc of the moral universe towards justice more and more. This involves a whole lot of abandoning the way we've always done it. And even when we know the best way forward is through uncharted territory, it is still very scary and fraught with doubts. But when we are sure of who we are and what we value, we can take brave actions, knowing we will not lose the wholeness of our beings. And knowing that we are not alone bolsters our bravery and strengthens our resolve. And while this work will hopefully change us in many ways, it will not change the core of who we are. Our Unitarian Universalist values, supported by this community, keep us connected to our inner truths. And after we take the risk and we come out on the other side, we can feel at peace with ourselves and our actions. The kind of peace that one might find alongside a flowing stream. One of our most beloved ancestral resistors is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His resistance to our unjust, dominant culture helped him become the face of a larger movement to bring the fight for civil rights into the national discourse. He helped to build a beloved community of resistance that is still resisting today. Tomorrow marks the 60th anniversary of the first March on Washington, where King gave his infamous "I Have a Dream" speech. Yesterday, there was a March on Washington to mark this anniversary. And to be clear, this march was planned as a continuation of the work and not a commemoration. And while ideally we would be able to mark this anniversary with only commemorations and celebrations, there is still cause to celebrate. This beloved community has resisted the unjust, dominant culture of the United States for over 60 years. The work is not done, and our call to be resistors continues. Community is what keeps us moving forward towards a more just future. We need each other to fight the battles we cannot, to bring the skills we lack, and to be a source of comfort and reprieve. It's also vital to remember that communities of resistance raise youth of resistance. We are currently witnessing a new generation of youth that are resisting oppressive systems in ways we only once envisioned in dreams. And one of the best ways that we can be a community of resistance is by supporting our youth as they craft a vision of a more just and equitable world. Even when those visions are wildly different from ours, we must be mindful of resisting systems of oppression and not visions of progress for a brave new future. So many of the societal structures that we have viewed as neutral have underpinnings of oppression. And so when these are revealed by our youth, it can be unsettling. And sometimes we can find ourselves on the side of oppression. But I assure you, it is never too late to learn more about the harsh realities of oppressive systems. A community of resistance will always welcome those who are unlearning and learning again. Being a community of resistance means being a community willing to face harsh truths together, and being willing to unlearn, learn, and unlearn some more. While recent years have given us more and more to resist, we are still here as a community. There have been wins along the way, and there have been losses. The strength of our resistance has waxed and waned, but it has never failed to show up in response to unjust, dominant culture. May it always be so. And finally, I want to share a metaphor with you that you can take with you. One of the ways I like to envision our continued resistance to injustice is like a pullback toy car. As oppressive forces attempt to pull us backwards, we create resistance in response. The stronger our community, the stronger our resistance. And inevitably, we reach a tipping point where our resistance overpowers the forces that are pulling us backwards. At that moment, we are propelled forward and we are freed. So when our resistance seems to be fruitless, remember, it is building and growing stronger every time we are pulled backwards. If we keep resisting, it is only a matter of time before we are propelled forward into a more just future. And so, the question to ponder is, how will we, as a community, create the resistance that will propel us forward? How will we choose to act as a community of resistance?
At this time, let us sing hymn number 149 in the gray hymnal. Lift every voice and sing 149. And if you feel like standing as you sing, you are very welcome to do so. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come, treading our path through the blood and the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where a white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
For our closing words, I offer this wisdom from Maya Angelou. Let us live so we do not regret years of inertia and ignorance. So when we die, we can say all of our energy was dedicated to the noble liberation of the human mind and spirit, beginning with my own. May it be so.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. Well, I'll stand my ground, won't be turned around, and I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. Well, I know what's right. I got just one life in a world that keeps on pushing me around, but I'll stand my ground, and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, I will stand my ground, and I won't back down. No, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
We hope that you found meaning in today's service. We close with these words by Krista Taves. It is our work, shared with each other in covenant, that creates and sustains this beloved community. We extinguish this chalice, but its light lives on in the directions we have chosen today. The light of this faith lives on in us, together, in our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. Amen, and blessed be.